जानबूझ के, I didn't watch it intentionally, so that I can watch it in this moment and feel it, and see that the power lady which is in here, she's right here amongst us. How amazing this is! How amazing this is!
Still alive. Still alive, I'm wondering how long. But it's still alive, and I start asking God, so how long more? So then I have to continue to reinvent my day. Because how long more means reinvention. You just can't bide your time. There has to be a reason. There has to be a cause and a higher purpose. So I keep asking, what next? कौन idea मुझे और नया देगा कुछ नया करने के लिए? How will I get the idea to do better than yesterday? Because otherwise life is monotonous. If it repeats yesterday, then no point. I've got to do something different and better. You see? And coming to you here is part of the reinvention. See this? It's reinvention. So that's it. So how long so far?
Ma'am, one question was I was watching and it just came to my mind. Have you ever came second? Everywhere, first women. I mean, even until America, first women. So have you ever come second?
First time I'm being asked this question. I never realized it. I did not do anything to come first, but it happened to me. I made no special efforts. I just did whatever was supposed to be done for that moment. That's all.
Wow. I have never come first, actually. Another question is, do you ever miss saying "Chalan kato"? Do you ever miss it?
वो अभी भी करती हूँ। जब मैं ड्राइव करती हूँ तो जब मैं गलती देखती हूँ मैं कहती हूँ मैसेज देती हूँ पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम को पुरानी नंबर का चालान करो। वो आगे नहीं।
Before I jump into a serious question, one more question which I wanted to ask was, have you ever, seen crime master go and seen something and then go and implemented anything, any strategy there and then this didn't work for me. Has this ever happened?
Oh yeah, I constantly learn from many events, occasions. Actually, I go out to learn. And if you don't stretch out to learn, how will you get some new ideas? So I stretch out to learn. I observe, so something or the other keeps coming out. Learning from Anita. How are you doing it together? Single-handedly, with your small team, you brought so many Australians together. I want to thank each one of you for being present today.
My mind, honestly, her mind is so sharp, and since morning she's given me so many ideas, which I didn't even thought of. And as soon as I say something, ma'am say, pause and first take this idea and think over it. And I'm like, okay. But she's really good. Thank you so much for coming.
So don't talk to me, you'll be flooded with ideas.
Yes. So you were the first women to join the IPS in 1972. What was your first day in uniform like? Did you feel the weight of history on your shoulders?
I wasn't in uniform for the first time. I was an NCC cadet. So I started graduation. So I was wearing a uniform for 4 years before. That was an NCC, National Cadet Corps. And then I got the IPS. So I loved the color of the uniform, the khaki, what it brings you, how it streamlines your body. It keeps you so alert and sharp. So I already developed the love for uniform. So I was in uniform as a student graduation days before I joined the Indian Police Service. But IPS was destiny. I think it happened by destiny because I happened to write the IPS as my first preference in the form of the Union Public Service Commission, not knowing that this alone will work. Because when I went for training, I didn't even know at that time that I was the first woman. So I didn't know it. And then when I was called by the government of India to say, can you change your mind? I said, why? They said, because there were no women in the IPS before and did not allow anybody to come. And there were dissuaded and took them elsewhere to another service. So, but I was called by the Union Home Minister. I think this is not part of the film, and that's how I got to know that I'm going to be the first woman. But that didn't matter to me. What mattered to me was that I get it. Because they tried to make me change my mind, it didn't work. And that's how it happened.
So, what were some of the toughest decisions you had to make as an IPS officer?
What, sorry?
What were some of the toughest decisions you had to make as an IPS officer? And how did you deal with the consequences? Were you ever scared to make those changes?
Well, toughest decisions were always going out of the hierarchy. How different thinking, where it was being tough. So one of the toughest, not toughest, it was something which would challenge me completely as to who I am. For instance, which is not part of this film, so I'll tell you something not part of the film. I was posted Inspector General Chandigarh, Union Territory of Chandigarh, and I'm a student of Chandigarh, doing my masters from there, Punjab University, Chandigarh. And I asked to be sent. I then met Mr. Advani that, sir, I'm looking for a change. Can I get a change? And Chandigarh was vacant. So I was posted as Inspector General Chandigarh. Now, everything came back to me. All that I used to talk about police reforms as a leader, now I was a leader. As a leader. Prisons, yes, leader. But as police officer, I was never the top of the leader. In Chandigarh, I became the leader, the Inspector General of Chandigarh Police. So I knew I could turn the reforms, I could bring about all those things now as a head, because earlier it was districts. Now I was the entire Union Territory, just exactly the way I did for Lieutenant Governor Pondicherry. I wanted to do it the same way. And I take over, and and I start making the changes, improving matters, making things better for the staff to work, etc. All that, moving to the police stations, looking at the welfare conditions, look at the service conditions. And then within 2 weeks, the then Chandigarh Home Secretary, she happened to be a woman, she suspended 3 inspectors of mine. And the Chandigarh was a small force. So 3 inspectors placed under suspension. And then the order came, and she issued the order. I was the IGP, she was the Home Secretary. So it's not necessarily that the women work it out very well. It isn't. It's never the case. So here she suspended out of nothing, whatever, I do not know my mind did it. 3 inspectors, and maybe I would have had 20 inspectors. So out of 20, you suspend 3, that's a big number. So I didn't even know. She didn't even tell me that I'm going to suspend 3 inspectors of yours. The officers came to me and said, ma'am, we've got a suspension order. I said, whose? The Home Secretary's. Ma'am, this is the order. I said, what? So here I'm getting to see she has intruded into my territory as well. That was the challenge. She's the Home Secretary, I'm the Inspector General. And unless I now forward the issue it formally, the order doesn't implement. Order doesn't get implemented. So I said, you go back to work. You go back to work. Nobody suspended. Go back to work. So they looked at me, how can this be? Because we got the all. I said, you go back to work, do your duty, I shall do mine. Now, I can't be the same Home Secretary who's done the order. I realized that she'd done it for no justified reason at all. So then I went and met the Lieutenant Governor. The Lieutenant Governor then, after Chandigarh, I told him, because he's the boss, I also report to him. I don't report to Home Secretary, I report to the Lieutenant Governor, the Administrator of Chandigarh. I said, sir, this is an order which has come, I've just taken over, I'm trying to turn around the Chandigarh police, and it's already showing signs of recovery, and going 3 inspectors in such a small force is a big number. So I said, sir, would you not reconsider and intervene? I never realized that he and the Home Secretary were hand in glove. They were hand in glove. And I told him then, sir, in that case, I have asked to come here. I'm looking forward to turning around and lead a police state force. I will not be issuing the orders, sir. I told him I shall not be passing on these orders to my Inspector General. I will legally defend them while being here. Therefore, I request you to intervene if you can. I hired a lawyer, paid personal money out of it to defend them. So I told them, now that your matter is getting to the court, you go back to work. But everything was hanging in balance. But I saved them, by the way. They were not suspended. They continued to work and we protected them. And so did the law. The law came in to protect them. But this was my most challenging. Now what happened thereafter is history. But then I had a tragic personal situation at home. My mother, whom you saw, she was hospitalized. She had a very severe cerebral stroke, and now everything went topsy-turvy. Now needed to be brought back to Delhi and for medical attention, etc. So I then called up my Home Minister, saying, Mr. Kiran Bedi, I said, sir, I asked you, send me to Chandigarh. Now I ask you, I will go back home. Because now my mother is my priority and she must get the best medical attention. So we brought her, drove her back in ambulance. And friends, while I did not suspend anybody, I had to leave the place, which I love the city, in just 49 days. But meanwhile, the 49 days, while these officers were being trained, while I was struggling with management of this current Home Secretary, in 49 days, Chandigarh was a different police force. Because I did all that I needed to do in 49 days. So there's a book called there's a biography of mine called I Dare. It's downloadable from my website. A book will not be available here for you because books don't reach this far to Australia. But you can read this. There's a chapter on something in the book I Dare, downloadable from my website called kiranbedi.com. And the chapter narrates all I told you when I met the Lieutenant Governor, etc. That I came away. So this was the most challenging. What was most challenging to me was, what is more important to me? These position or these officers? It was clearly these officers, not the position. So I was willing to, that's why I told the Lieutenant Governor, sir, I will not be issuing the orders. You can do what you wish. So they tolerated me, by the way, but as nature would have it, I had to leave the Chandigarh city. But read the chapter if you wish. It's in the book called I Dare, and you can go to kiranbedi.com and download the book and read for yourself.
Thank you. When I announced even someone from Chandigarh said to me, when ma'am came to Chandigarh, so in our college we used to start teasing each other. Hey, wait, see, Kiranji is there right behind you. So people used to get scared. They were so scared of you. Well, now I'll pass it on to Sangeeta. She's got a question, and then Nilesh, and then open to the public.
I was watching that documentary very closely, and as I was watching, there was a slogan that actually stuck in my head. वो सोती नहीं है पर हमें सोने नहीं देती.
नहीं सोती ना
सोती है. I'm second generation Indian. And it's basically stuck in my head, and I thought to myself, that sounds like my husband talking to me, you know. But it's sort of stuck to my head for a reason, because as women, we do a lot of things. We multitask a lot in our life and in our daily generations. Now, Kiran, I'm a second generation Indian. Hindi is not the greatest. My father came here 40 plus years, so I'm showing you my age. And being a second generation Indian, I've also had some struggles here in Australia. Obviously trying to be accepted as an immigrant in this country, but I was born here. My question to you is, obviously you've seen a lot of changes when it comes to us ladies. You've seen a lot of growth when it comes to
a lot of what?
Changes and growth.
Challenges.
So my question to you is, what advice would you give our younger generation in regards to opportunities for work in male-dominated industries? Because it can be very difficult to get there, especially here.
Look, the one common thread if you wish to draw from this documentary, which is this life which you just saw, is it being consistent in one thing. And that consistency is what is the need of the hour, or for any life. That is the purpose. What is the purpose of my doing anything I do? And there was a higher purpose. I was secondary in everything. I joined the service for a purpose. First of all, two things. Two things went into my life. One was purpose, and secondly, consistency. There was no doubt in my purpose. I started the police service for a larger cause, to serve the people, to serve my country. I love my country, love being here. My sisters all went overseas. I'm the only one who stayed back in India. And because I wanted to be home in India, and be with my parents. And therefore, that purpose to serve my country, and that in uniform, and not power, but service. So the service remained the component, had the purpose. So what has happened so far is consistency in the purpose in anything I did. I saw people and I saw purpose. India, of course, I was there. So national service is I'm serving the people of my country. I'm serving my own people. So all the time, whether they are drug addicts, whether they're in prisons, whether they're in the traffic road, whether they're in district police, the purpose remained the same. And all the challenges came along. See that purpose? Even Chandigarh police was a purpose. Purpose is I'm here for not the Home Secretary. I'm not here for Lieutenant Governor. I'm here to serve the people of Chandigarh. How will I serve them if you keep suspecting and demoralizing my force? But at that time, I always became secretary. My message to the youngsters or the generation is, find your purpose. And what is a higher purpose? One can be your own purpose. I want to make a lot of money, sure. I want to be very secure, yes. I want to be very rich, yes. But what's your higher purpose? Is it beyond a selfish purpose? There has to be a little higher purpose to add joy to your life. And then also do what you love doing. Not what others tell you to do. Pick up what you enjoy doing. What it is, there's no higher or lower profession. Anything you love doing, just do that. Find the purpose and keep being consistent. This was my message. If every young man or woman looks at the purpose within, and the earlier you search within, what is that I like? What is that I enjoy? What is the higher purpose? I want to be doing, be rich and do what? Be rich and do what? Serve whom? Be a cause for whom? There has to be questioning. Not, I have to live, rich by myself. Do be rich by yourself. But where's that higher purpose? That's fine. But do what? Because after a while, that will dry up. It is the higher purpose with that richness. That richness will actually give you joy for life. So I would say, my little message is, if you saw this one consistent message, is consistency of a higher purpose, but there is a higher purpose than the simple purpose.
Thank you.
There's a Shelley.
Shivali.
She wanted to say something. She told me something. Can I hear what you said? Because you didn't tell me that. Would you? Would you speak from there? Can I have her? I don't know what she does in history. She's your representative here. Would you like to come up? Because I want to hear what's in your heart. She was sitting right next to me and she said, I've got something very, very hidden in here. So what's that hidden? Now I do not know what she's going to say. It made me cry. So I'm looking at what made me cry.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I even never dared to dream to be standing next to you, ma'am, and sitting next to you.
But that's what you told me. Now tell me that.
And I am promising that tears will come at the end of the story, will be the tears of the joy. That's my promise. Okay, I'll be very quick, precise, but I must say that message बहुत बड़ा है, time is very short. Lots of feelings, but छोटा time है. I am Shivali Chatli,
Yes, you are.
counselor in city of Greater Bendigo, proud mother of a single mom, proud mother of 7 years old. दुर्गा माता की डिवोटी हूँ और बेटी का नाम अंबिका है. Quickly बताना चाहती हूँ because message is too long. There's a little story. It's not a question. मैम आपने जो भी अपनी सर्विसेज में किया होगा हमें तो शायद उसका 0.1% अंदाजा भी नहीं है. But what your aura is and what it had been in my life, I'm going to share with everybody. And whoever could connect with this story, think this story is written in a book or I am telling you, that's one and the same thing. It is my personal story. I belong to Ludhiana. मेरे छोटा brother Sahib सामने से बात. Yes. मेरा छोटा brother Sahib actually once was sitting in an IPS office with his friend, police officer. तो उन्होंने वो 6 महीने मेलबर्न में रहते हैं ऑफिसर और 6 महीने इंडिया में. तो मेरे ब्रदर ने उनको बोला कि मेरी सिस्टर शिवाली चैटली भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहती हैं. एंड आई एम हियर फ्रॉम लास्ट 26 इयर्स. तो वो जो ऑफिसर है वो मुझे बहुत अच्छे से जानते हैं. उन्होंने बोला तेरी बहन तो किरण बेदी है.
तेरी बहन?
तुम्हारी बहन तो वहाँ की किरण बेदी है.
अच्छा.
एक सुनने में बहुत अच्छा लगा. अमेजिंग फीलिंग. मुझे लगता है किसी को भी लगेगा, whoever even dream of it, बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. सुनने में अच्छा लगा. But when I felt that it was a blessing, उसके बाद I've been through lot of crests and ups of my life. I'm a single mother. I've been through all the devastation. वो कहते हैं कि experiences struggle से आती हैं, success तो सबको नजर आती है. वो जो hard time था, I never call के time बुरा होता है. अच्छा time होता है, hard time होता है. उस hard time में जब वो low moments आए, तो वो वर्ड याद आया कि तुम्हारी बहन तो किरण बेदी है. और छोटा ब्रदर 9 साल छोटा है, उसने बार याद करवाया. जब मैं उसको लो मोमेंट में फोन करती थी, अच्छा मैंने तो सुना था आप किरण बेदी हो, कैन यू लेट मैम डाउन. तो वो जब सुनने में अच्छा लगा, वो बार फील करके अच्छा लगा. मैम दुर्गा माता से ये फील हुआ कि दिस इज द ट्रू फॉर्म ऑफ ब्लेसिंग. वो जो ब्लेसिंग फ्लो हुआ फ्रॉम फर्स्ट IPS लेडी, the true form of blessing from that made me first female regional counselor. Thank you very much.
She only told me one thing. कि मैम एक word था, there was one word which continued to be my strength, but she didn't tell me the word. The word was whatever she said. So I was very keen to know what was that mantra.
Ma'am, that mantra was that I felt that spiritual connection with yourself, even though I never met you.
Well, this some connections brought me back here.
Yes.
Because I don't travel long distances. I try to avoid long distances because it changes my body biology. So, but I'm here thanks to her constant, persistent effort.
Yes, excellent.
Thank you.
नमस्कार मैम. मैं इधर ही आ जाता हूँ.
इधर बैठो.
मैम पहले तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपने सीन द वीडियो.
ये फोटोज जरूर खींच लीजिए. कंफर्टेबली बैठ जाओ शाबाश. मेरा ध्यान रखूंगा.
Thank you. Ma'am, video after seeing that, to talk about a lot of. Before I ask the question, I want to say something. After seeing the video, we have a lot of motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, everyone in that category. And one thing I learned today that just like your name, Kiran, which means the ray for people who don't know, just one ray is enough sometimes.
Absolutely.
When I look at people like Reena, like I've known her for a few years, and I don't know how much she shared with you, but she's always said, one day I'm going to get Kiran Bedi.
Oh my God.
Like, people talk about manifestation or dream.
So the purpose gets visualized.
Yes. So, I mean, honestly, it's...
What saved you through was visualization. You see, you can have Durga Ma as a visualization. You can have a person you look up to. So it's a visualization and the purpose. See, the visualization drove you. Visualization brought here.
Yes, ma'am. And to the point, like I've seen how much work people like her have done in the community, inspired by you. So, also to the point, like, I don't know, like, she's probably going to tell me off later.
Now he deserves a chair. Can he get it?
No, it's okay. I'm done anyways.
You earned your chair. Now you earned it. By showing your humility, you showed it.
Good CD there.
Now he's a very good friend of mine who's always there for me.
There you are. So he is there as a great friend. Anita, now you're fine.
And, like, I think she's probably going to tell you, but when she
So
said...
what's your question?
question but maybe I'll skip the question that is more important to mention. She was like, कि किरण मैम घर आ रहे हैं, मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है मेरी मम्मी आ रही है.
Okay. That's true.
So,
I also felt
generally, like, I think both
you know,
of
friends,
them...
when she invited me, I said I'll come on one condition. I'm not going to check into any hotel. I want a home where I can relax and ask for food island. Because in the hotels you never get hot food. You only get cold food. So I said, I cannot eat cold food. I want warm, hot food and something to my taste. So I said, like Shataru, I'll come, but I don't want to stay. Do you have a good Indian family, as she told me? She's my home and my heart. So I said, okay, I'm coming home. See? And I've been home. And believe me, for me, all my exhaustion of, because prior to this I was in Singapore for a speaking engagement. All this exhaustion has just gone away. I made my own fried egg this morning and I wanted it hot and I took it hot. See, and I loved it. So, go ahead.
So, my question is, so, as a father, and someone who's very curious about mindset, especially when you're a child, what advice would you give to me as a parent? Ki how can I help my daughter and even my son shaping them to be a person like yourself? What role can I play and how can I motivate them to move into that direction, which is usually very hard because we're all busy playing the rat race.
Read with your children, play with your children, be with your children. Find the right time for your children. If you saw it in the documentary, they were with me. It's not that they weren't enjoying themselves, they were also going to the club every day, daddy would go and play around. But when it came to inspiration, he would read and inspire me. He was reading some of the best inspirational books of his time. And then they was passing on that inspiration, saying, Kiran, I read this today. So it was like drop by drop nurturing in my head all the inspiration. Napoleon Hills of the time, Vincent Peale's of the time. Used to read all these books. And reading, playing with me. Series you saw it play. So if as parents, you find time to read with your children, study with your children, play with your children. So you have to go to work too. But a parent, particularly any parent, a parent, plays and invests time into the children and shares the inspiration with the children, right? And be the role models for the children. That's the main thing. Is what you want, you have to walk the talk. So if the child models for you, child is learning your language, child is learning the way the food you eat, child is wearing the way, the kind of do, child is learning and observing you. That means you are the role model. So how do you model yourself and then talk to the children, communicate with the children. What happened today? What happened in the school today? What happened? What did you learn today? What did you share? Oh, I was bullied today. Okay, how did you deal with the challenge of bullying? So it's like giving them problem solving skills, giving them the confidence, making them courageous, making them brave, and sending them all for adventure. School's taking you for adventures, go. So more adventures your children come at this stage, more outdoor they do while they're doing schooling in indoor. And then they're becoming multi-dimensional. They're getting more and more skills. It's your connectivity with the parent, with the child is important. Do not distance yourself. So, if you have to sacrifice a dinner to be with the child, sacrifice the dinner. Switch it to a lunch. Because at lunchtime, your child is in school. So use a lunch. Rather than having dinner appointment to let the child be without you, have the dinner with your child. Have lunch with your friend. So rather than dinner appointments, switch to lunch appointments. So that you are home for dinner. And then if you want to go, the child has gone to sleep by 9 o'clock, you can go out for a little late dinner. No problem after the child has gone to bed, gone to rest. So I think it's the kind of connectivity and communication line you establish and a mutual learning, listening and communicating, that's the key.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Biggest problem is the value system. Because the learning will come through value system.
Alright, we're going to open the floor now for everyone, so go for it.
I wanted to do a full-fledged interview with you since I have known you, but I know we don't have time this time, but one day I will. But for now, just one question which I wanted to ask you since my childhood. I didn't know this, my father told me that you towed away Indira Gandhi's car.
Yes,
which I saw in the documentary as well. And I wanted to ask you, what was her reaction when you did that?
She invited me for breakfast.
I always wanted to ask you this question.
She was a very good woman. She and I were very fond of each other. We used to have literally, our duty was regularly exchanging smiles and greetings. She was very fond of me. Once Prince Charles visited her, I was one of her special guests. I was like a showpiece for we got young women in the Indian police service at such high levels.
Hello everyone. Time बहुत कम है, so now we come to you one by one. Now from this side, one question.
Hello ma'am. Kiran ji.
Mic is where?
Hello.
I'll take the man first. Okay. The young man, the old young man. Okay, sir. Carry on.
किरण जी जो अभी पिक्चर देखा वीडियो देखा है और आपने जो बात कर और जो उससे ये है कि most of the places you are successful and you did the things what was given to you. दिल्ली सीएम के इलेक्शन में क्या करना हो गया?
वो मेरी काबिलियत ही नहीं थी। वो काबिलियत नहीं थी।
Kiran ji. Okay. My name is Dipti Pandit. Today is a big moment in my life. 30 years ago, me as a young badminton player who was absolutely inspired by you, my upbringing has been has a very strong influence of you in my life. So 30 years ago, when you had visited a small city in Karnataka called Belgaum,
yes, I
had the opportunity to, just sneak around and make my way through about 10 times of this crowd just because I wanted your autograph. I got onto the stage, and after your speech was done, I presented my little book you signed, and I was fortunate that someone had gifted you a tracksuit. You gifted that to me. So for me, it's somebody had gifted you a tracksuit, and I had come from badminton, so I was wearing a tracksuit, and I was so lucky that she gifted that gifted tracksuit to me.
Wow!
So 30 years after, this is life coming a full circle. So I cannot express how wonderful and golden moment this is for me.
Wow.
Thank you, Reena.
Wow! Wow!
I will not leave without a photograph. Anyways, I'll come to my question. Women leaders or anyone aspiring to do something, the biggest challenge we face is self-doubt and imposter syndrome.
Is syndrome? Self-doubt
and imposter syndrome. And especially when we come across difficult moments or challenging situations, we feel like giving up. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. I'm sure you would have millions of those situations. What has been your power? What has made you think, no, I have to go back and fight? How have you pulled yourself out of those situations? Thank you.
You see, we all are aware of hardware. This is hardware. What does it have inside? What does it have? Software. So this is hardware and software. Doesn't it get updated regularly? Does it? What do you do regularly to keep it going? Charge it. Right? And you look for the right plugs. I'm looking at self-care. From hardware to software to self-care. We women or men, whoever, it's human, we don't go into self-care. And when does self-care begin? The habit of self-care begins by awareness that who am I? What am I here for? And am I going to be dependent or independent? And you work towards stronger sense of independence and self-reliance. When I grew up, I was more around all the time moving towards self-reliance. In my Indian police service, believe me, I had no mentor. I had no mentor. And I did not have many credible friends because we were all competing with each other, postings and transfers. And it was all political pulls and pressures. My strength was my family, and my family was my self-care because they were training me how to become self-reliant and self-dependent. And my setting up my belief systems. So, improving when you start, doesn't matter if you haven't done this from small time. You can get into self-care anytime, all the time. And what is self-care? Self-care is a lot of quietude time to yourself and asking your own self, how can I be better? What can I do to make myself more confident? How can I be more mentally and physically strong? Right? If you ask yourself, these are your self-cares, and you find your plug points, just as you find your plug points to recharge here, you get into recharge plug points. And the plug points can be spiritual. It can be a friend. It can be a book. It can be a satsang. It can be. Go into your self-care plug points. And plug points can be your fitness, your gymnasium, your music, right? And your job. Your own self-reliance is your job. So if you start valuing all these, it's basically preparing, strengthening yourself for self-care. So from hardware, which is your body, internal body is your software, which you keep nutritioning. Don't we feed it every day? To feed the software. But we forget the self-care. Because this is not visible. And it has a headache. This self-care has a headache because you're not nutritioning this hardware with oxygen, with yoga, with meditation, with spirituality, with good value system, with good character, with good habits. It's like creating a whole self of yourself. So if you create a self of yourself, you will then look out, because self-care is never selfish. Self-care, once it's confident with itself, it looks to how can I serve others. See? So remember, we all grow in hardware, we grow in software, and this is a model example. And we also know where it plugs. We also look for right kind of plugs to charge it. But we forget self-care. And that is what we have to practice on a regular basis. I have to practice it daily. I have to read rightly, to eat rightly. No toxic relationships, no toxic gossips, no toxic friends. If somebody is complaining, toxic. Thank you. Toxic. No gossip, no complaining, no cheating. Living an authentic life of yourself. So authentic living is self-care. So constantly self-audit yourself. Once you all get into happy individually, audit your own self, you lead to a self-improvement. And as you get into self-help groups, self-help books, there are many today self-help books. There are self-help YouTube channels, self-help YouTube programs. So instead of wasting time on others, which is another kind of syndrome which gives you, I could also look slim, I could also look very fashionable. I could also have a child like that. I could also have a dog like that. Or I could also have a home like that. No. Look at something else. So choose not comparison. Choose what can make you grow. So going for a growth mindset. Once you have a growth mindset, mind, body, soul, spiritual, you will always continue to have self-care growing for you. Never into getting into a virus. Never virus. You won't have to delete it because it will be clean. It will be cleansed every day. So therefore, good relationships, good nutrition, good time scheduling, good reading, good nutrition here. Take care of your body. The most important thing in my life I've noticed, you've noticed here, is the health, is stamina. If you've got stamina and your health and your mental health, you can do all this. But if you're not got the stamina and the energy, you can't do it. You're dependent on others. So if you are afraid of something, stop being afraid of dependent on others. Financial, physical, or morally. So don't depend on others. Be self-reliant. Practice self-reliance on a daily basis.
We'll take one more question.
No, we can take some more.
Oh, okay. I'll take a couple of questions then.
Last two guys.
Last.
Already have the mic if I can go.
Let's take some more because there are a few hands. Carry on.
We're running late now, so.
You're running late for what? Which show? Who's the owner of the hall?
So guys,
Are you the owners of the hall? Who are the owners of the hall? Oh, we are the owners now. Because we occupied it. Okay.
So before you proceed further, please जब आप question पूछें, so I know you all are very excited to meet ma'am, तो ये सब बोलने के बजाय please start with the questions straight away so that we all can cover, right? Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. As professionals, we often face moments of low confidence, especially when we experience failures in our journey. So, what mindset or habits would you recommend to overcome self-doubt and stay resilient while building a career?
अभी बताया ना यही तो जवाब दिया.
Ma'am, one more question.
सारी मैंने
Could
रामायण
you
पढ़
also
दी.
share one thing or
मैंने रामायण पढ़ दिया. अब आप मुझे पूछ रहे रामचंद्र सीता जी कहाँ हैं? And you children you girls don't realize it. It starts early on for self-care. When you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, well, now you have a boyfriend only. And you find out why you're liking him. Why wasting your time on him? Why wasting have a friend? Why wasting time on him? So get into self-care. First get into your career. You can have boys, friends and friends. But how much time are you investing into them for what? And this is a time for education. This is a time for skill. This is a time for knowledge. This is a time for family bonding. Right? And having the right kind of friends. But what are you spending your time on? Because time is not going to come back. But once you're on your own feet, make your choices better. Better choices. So all your life now, from now on, start working on making better choices. Every day. Choice day to day, hour to hour.
Guys, please, while the ma'am is talking, can you please stay silent so that everyone can hear? And please, you'll get the mic. Please don't leave your space for the mic, please.
Dr. Kiran Bedi, मैं यहाँ हूँ. इधर.
Give me 1 second. Let him speak, please. Yeah, 1 second.
I've seen you as one of the leaders in this corruption against India movement at that time, and I just want to understand what are your experiences there, because we have seen a lot of changes after that.
A few of us got together to do a movement of India against corruption at the need of the hour at that time. It was the need of the hour. And I actually sacrificed myself to meet the need of the hour. For me, it was an answer of my conscience to speak up when it was absolutely needed. So therefore, I became a part of the movement to speak up against what I wanted to I had always been talking about it, even writing about it. And once my purpose was met, I moved out. Because my purpose had met, because some of the group members' priorities changed. And they started to hijack the movement for something else. My purpose had been met to highlight the extent of corruption at that time prevailing in the country and to raise a public conscience about it. Public awareness had been raised to the pitch high and it benefited us because it it brought about a change. So my objective was met. I was a part of that to answer my conscience, and you know it was one of the harshest times we had because it was during humid times, heat times, etc. And there was just plenty, but it was very, very, very taxing, very annoying, very, very demanding, but I fulfilled my purpose. I did it as a national duty.
Dr. Kiran, मैं कब से हूँ? My name is Dr. Reena and before I ask the question, I just want to give my gratitude because I'm a childhood sexual abuse survivor, and growing up back in India, I was abused for over 10 years in my family. And I know at that time, crying on the floor, listening to your speeches on TV, that always made me think, I want to be strong as you, I want to be bold as you, and I want to make my voice count. And today, I'm so happy that following your journey and getting the strength from you, I'm actually standing as an independent candidate for Senate for Victoria. And I know you said you always look for new things to do, and I probably have too many questions. So my one question would be, will you be my mentor in my political journey?
Am I allowed? Of course, allowed overseas mentors?
Yes.
All right, happy to be. Read my book called Fearless Governance.
Yes.
That's a totally leadership book. You will get the entire manual of good fearless governance for yourself by reading that book. If you're still left out with some certain questions, you can connect with me through my website.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Kiran ma'am, hello ji.
This child wants to have a conversation.
What's your question?
How did you feel when you reached your achievement or goals of adapting to wherever you are and making that place a better place for civilians and even criminals?
Okay, let me read it. How did you feel when you reached your achievement or goals of adapting to whatever you are and making that place a better place? I just look forward to preparation for the next day. As it is. That's over and done with. This is going. What about tomorrow? I have to prepare and revise my syllabus. I have to revise my self-aware for tomorrow. So similarly, how can you do a better exam tomorrow? How can you do it? Take your mic. I have a question to ask.
Prepare the day before?
Exactly. So it's preparation. Right? So you prepare for tomorrow and you do it. And then what do? Do you stop preparation because you've done well? Or do you look forward to the next? You've got another class to do?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Start preparing for the next one.
Exactly.
Now because you're older, how do you use
No, I'm not older.
how do you use all your experience?
You know, when you get old, when this stops working. So as long as this
how do you use your past experiences in day-to-day life?
Oh, past experiences and chapter learning. How do you use your past knowledge at the next class? How? Where it doesn't come from? Because you fed your brain. So what do you do? How do you use writing an essay? The first thing you've been asked to write an essay. And you, what class are you?
Six.
Sixth. You've done 5 classes already. So all the knowledge you read from other 5 classes, how do you use it on the 6th standard when you're writing essay?
Combine all of them together and
Exactly. So if you read it well, it will all come back. And that's the best part of it. You see, that is artificial intelligence. This is internal intelligence. So you will use your, not artificial intelligence, which is being fed. Artificial AI is today being fed to respond. But you are feeding it every day here to respond. The wiring is the same. So remember, use your internal intelligence. And how does internal intelligence? When you feed it with the right information every day. You feed it right, it responds right. You feed it wrong, it responds wrong. So that is why if artificial intelligence, if they feed it all wrong, you go to ChatGPT, it will give you all wrong information. But if you feed it right, your safety, this is exactly example of the internal intelligence. So if you work on internal intelligence on a daily basis, cleaning up of all the viruses, all the negativities, wrong thoughts, diffidence, lack of confidence, fear, cowardice, right? Indiscipline, all these habits. So if you replace these bad habits with good habits, you've got a great internal intelligence and you write better and better.
Hi, Kiran. Oh, wait, you did.
उसने रूल ब्रेक किया है।
किसने रूल ब्रेक किया?
हाय, उसने रूल ब्रेक किया है। वो वहाँ हमने बोला था अपनी सीट पे।
No, I'm sorry. She has to approve for this.
Ma'am, please.
Okay, Karen.
Thank you very much.
Ma'am, we've seen your documentary, and there was a great relationship in your family that supported you. So my question is on that. What negotiation skills are essential for a woman to gracefully and effectively pursue her authenticity, career aspirations, and family love
Without causing an earthquake at home?
So, would you know the cause of the earthquake? Can you find the earthquake would have a cause? Is it man-made? Is it man-made earthquake or is it nature-sent? If it's nature-sent, you've got to suffer it. Now, a nature-sent certain earthquake could be a very close person, a close relative passing away. That's an earthquake. Because it totally turns it all upside down. So that's nature said, you accept and you reconcile and you move around. But if it's man-made, then who made it? What made it? Why did it make? What is the solution? Solution lies with you. You have to think it through how, when, why and where. And then start with how do I do it? So once you know the why, then it becomes how. Know the why and then get on to how, and the how is split into lots of little steps. Start taking them towards so that you don't have another quake. So what caused the quake? Who caused the quake? What caused the quake? And how do you deal with it to prevent the quake? It all lies in your hands. And if you're looking for support systems, that also lies in your hands. What support system can you have? Gather the family, this support system, and work it together. It's all situational.
Thank you so much. I watched your video. It was so inspirational. My name is Tarini. I run Australia's only and first organization dedicated to educating migrants about the Australian political system, and that includes non-citizens as well, and it has been an uphill battle for the last 4 years. So I'm watching your video, I'm so inspired that you went into these strict rule authority-based organizations and implemented out-of-the-box thinking in such rigid structures. And I'm having those challenges because migrants are not supposed to be educated about the Australian political system.
Why not?
Because many of them are not citizens. You're on temporary visas, some other visas, and until you get the eligibility to vote, people don't think of you as people.
But it doesn't matter. Immigrant also has certain rights.
Correct. But And this is the first organization dedicated to educating immigrants, so that tells you a lot about the mentality, I guess, in structures.
We don't have to paint everybody with the same brush. We don't have to. You continue to do what is right. Everybody may not be agreeing with you, but you continue to do it. So we don't have to paint the whole system.
How do we bring people?
But just as we say that everybody's corrupt. No, everybody's not corrupt. Some are corrupt. So some maybe not. Who are those people? God knows. You continue to do. Because a country to prosper, once it allows a person comes in, whether migrant or non-migrant, is now using the resources of the country and the taxpayers' resources. Yes. And therefore it is in the interest of the country that the migrant also behaves himself or herself and that he understands and obeys the law. Right? So I think it's important that the migrants are also immigrants. Immigrants or migrants? Who?
Say.
When they equally have to be responsible citizens. When they are using the resources of a particular country, they have to go by the laws of the country because it's a larger security and it's larger well-being which they cannot disturb. So therefore, I'm glad you're doing this. Before they make mistakes and suffer, you are preventing their suffering by making them responsible persons living in the country. So you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. I don't see anybody having an objection to it. Anybody should have an objection to it. But you carry on, the bigger the challenge, more the joy.
Thank you so much for and Reena.
You can also stand up, sir.
Thank you. That's great. For me, I'm an elected councillor out in Norton, which is amazing. I've been on the council here, which is terrific. One of the things that struck me about your presentation is how you approach it with compassion, joy, and humanity. And I think it's really important that we reflect the diverse views of everybody.
Give him a better mic.
Thank you.
Because he's saying the right things. He's saying some nice right things.
So that's fair. So I think the thing that really struck me is how you approach your entire career with such compassion, such humanity, and such joy. And I feel like in a lot of these male-dominated industries, it's very important to have those diverse views. And I suppose my question to you is reinforcing the importance of the diverse perspectives, particularly more feminine ones, and how important you think that is in society.
Last portion of the words I missed, that these are feminine, what?
Well, they're not unique feminine views, but you bring it with a unique perspective.
But you know what? They're uniquely feminine.
They can be, which is why we reflect on them. Yeah,
exactly. You're so right. All these things have been uniquely feminine in a man's world.
Yes.
What has happened in my life? I was born a woman, but I acquired the successful skills of a man. That's what happened. So I became two in one. I gained the strengths, I had the inner strengths and talents of a woman. Which is empathy, compassion, love, selflessness, right? Humility. All this is a lot, and multitasking is a very strong woman's. But what did I do? I got my muscle, I got my money, and I got mobility, right? And I got the courage. So these are the strengths, traditional strengths of a man. But when a woman gets competent, becomes professionally competent, she has all. She has the woman's strengths and she has the male's strengths as well. So she becomes extra. Right? That is the extra. And that is why now sometimes people are looking for competently professional women because they come in all these qualities. They've got their professional competence, they've got the courage, they've got risk-taking, right? They've got adaptability, they've got trustworthiness, they've got integrity. What else do you need? So therefore, such women, if they can be found out, who can lead the world, and they'll never take you to wars. Such women will never take you to wars. They'll never take you towards violence. Because they care for humanity. Because they're mothers at heart. And mothers always care more and more for humanity. last 2 minutes. As the boss says.
Hello, Dr. Bedi. My question is, when you want to provide leadership guidance, and it's for a greater and a good cause, but you often met with people who promote self-subservience. And obviously, as a human being, people fear to face challenges. They go for the easy way out of subservience. So, as a leader, how do you keep yourself motivated to keep doing the greater cause rather than taking the way of subservience?
I keep my purpose in mind. I keep the purpose of any position I've got in mind. What am I here in the prison for? What am I here in police training for? What am I here as a governor of the Pondicherry for? I must know the why. I always began with the why wherever I joined any work. Why am I here? You know, in governments, in India, I don't know whether here, do they give you a list of your purpose, they give you your measurements. That if you've done so many rounds here, you've done this much, or you saved so much of money, right? So these are your performances. That's a performance appraisal. But you must know inside you, what is the purpose? When a political leader is elected, or what is the purpose? Purpose is welfare of people.
But don't it get mellowed down by other people who promote subservience?
Because the leader is not that value, he is weak on his values. He is off the purpose. When the leader deviates from the purpose, then he is not an authentic leader. He is only a leader in position. In position. Position and in position. But not somebody who is loved. So leadership is, remember, not a position. The leadership is performance of how you perform this way. So I would say an authentic leader remains consistent with the purpose. And the moment he deviates from the purpose, he's a leader in position but not actually enhancing performance. So they don't trust it. That's why they get elected out. Because they deviated from the purpose. And a leader who retains now, whether he's getting influenced by others or not, it's based on his self-willpower. How much he is consistent with this. So it's very, very important that the leader remains authentic, trustworthy, honest, and totally to the purpose for which that position brought him, elected him. So the more honest you are to the purpose, the more authentic and loved leader you will be, even when you go long way. That's why leaders who go long way, like Nelson Mandela, he never got away from the purpose. Even the present purpose, he never was revengeful. He was kind and compassionate as a man. As a man, he was a very compassionate man. And when he came out of the prison after from his birth, after so many long years, his book is Long Run, Long March. It's a very good book, The Long March. He's written away his own biography. And when he came out, he said, I have no anger against anybody. And he brought reconciliation into South Africa. Now we are remembering him even after he's gone for many years. These are the leaders who are truly authentic and trustworthy, who had all these qualities of men and women.
Ma'am, my name is Monica. And I'm from Chandigarh University. I've done a master's from the same university as you have.
Oh, lovely.
And many thanks for being a trailblazer, a role model, and an inspiration. I have family violence victims, and I've had more than 700 family violence victims here. But we still need more Kiran Bedis. And my request to you is, please start a mentorship program so that the world can have more Kiran Bedis and help many, many, many more other women. Thank you so much.
It's very interesting. This morning, Reena and I were discussing this. Reena and I were discussing how can she and my foundations, which are also dealing with domestic violence issues. My foundation, the Love Jyoti India Foundation, deals with family counseling and also deals with cases of domestic violence. And any case of domestic violence which comes to my foundation is dealt with. And it dealt with whether it needs counseling, does it need mediation, does it need legal intervention, does Navjyoti India Foundation is into family counseling, can you believe it, for the last 50 years. So I have data and experience of family counseling, domestic violence. Now, India today has a very good law called the Domestic Violence Act. I'm aware that your law and Indian law is different. Indian law of domestic violence is very tough. It's very tough and it's punitive, but it's also corrective. It also gives you an opportunity for mediation. So your Domestic Violence Act does not just go like that. There are interventions calibrated interventions. According to the law, Indian Domestic Violence Act came after the United Nations Convention Against Domestic Violence. It's a very good law. And it's also tough. Now it's just because finally the justice is done by the courts of law. But the police intervenes. And the NGOs come in. And the woman can seek help. Well, if she seeks wrong help, she too is punished. So it's a fair law. It's not one-sided law. Since I've dealt with domestic, by the way, my PhD is in domestic violence and drug abuse and violent acts. So I'm making you understand that you need to see the Indian law and you need to see the Australian law and see what can be changed, what can be exchanged. But when I was talking to her this morning, that she could use my Navjyoti experience as well to help you people. Because I understand there are a lot of domestic violence acts coming from a particular region of India, particular state of region, and they do not know what to do or how does the police respond. So therefore, I am willing to offer my Navjyoti services to Reena. She can form a team here and we can come online. We can use online technology to sort out issues. And not for Australian police, but for Indian police, when they are domestic violence gone back to the state. And then they've committed act of their husband or spouse has been committed domestic violence while in India. Well, Indian law takes care. And my foundation, Navjyoti, is willing to work with you people. Willing to work and to be a bridge between that violence. Now, there are two kinds of violence. One in here, which you will have to do the Australian law. But one who suffered and got back home, I can intervene, I can help you. I've already offered to Reena that if Reena is willing, then we can work together. And I can continue to be of value, but you need to put a team together. That will take care of victims there. But you know what? Once you deal with the victim who's gone to the particular state, after having been victimized, and continues to be, like for instance, somebody walks away with the children and leave the woman stranded, right? Or stops whatever violence, it's committed violence. While you may not take action under the Australian law, depending on the gravity of the offence, Indian police can. Indian police will. Even the complaint to the government of India, the Prime Minister's office, gets acted upon. So I can send it to my gov.in, which is PM's grievance redressal system. It goes to the police station concerned. Police station looks at a nearby NGO and starts taking action, calling for the women crimes against women cells. Because we got crimes against women cells. We got a very comprehensive Domestic Violence Act.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thanks a million to Reena for connecting us. Because we work together. Yes, we are connected. I'm a professional counselor as well, and I'm very glad that with Gwen, the chair of BMC, is here. I've been on BMC Advisory Board for 7 years, and I work closely with the minister who is Honorable Natalie Hutchins. She is the Minister for Women Affairs and also Minister for Prevention of Domestic Violence.
I'm meeting her. Reena says I'm meeting her.
Beautiful.
I'll be suggesting this to her as well. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to leave it to this. Through her, her group, which she has, through her networking, victims of domestic violence left behind, the police will be actually sending a warrant of arrest to Australian police.
Fantastic.
That person will become an accused for India. And maybe his passport could be taken away. make a request to the Embassy of Australia to cancel his visa. You know, so many things can happen.
That is amazing and very
Much things. So it happen. Because, or even the Australian High Commission will be informed in Delhi that this person has gone away doing this. So that means you have a record for him here. So Indian police could play a very good role in managing domestic violence whose victims have been left behind, and also who may be coming back, but then coming under some protection. So I think it can be a package which can be worked together between India but you don't need to. You can do it because the law does allow you to do it.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Kiran Bedi, I just flew from India.
We will be elected otherwise.
Yeah. So, ma'am, I flew from India just to listen to you.
Okay,
yeah.
Now you the last question then.
Maybe.
So you've got a special position then.
I flew from India after honoring Reena Adam in the parliament for her work here, and some of the parliamentarians felicitated her. Thank you for being here. My question quickly is, one comment is that you may not be knowing millions of girls in the 80s and 90s didn't have film stars in their hostels. They had Kiran Bedi's picture. And millions have been without your knowledge. And my question is, Narendra Modi ji wants to extend Bharat by 2047. What should Indian diaspora, including all of us, should do to contribute to India's growth?
That's a very good question and it's a great closing question. Thank you so much for this closing question. Friends, you all have your school back home. You all have a village back home. You all have some of your families back home. You all know somebody who is maybe in need of you. You never know. But you all have some connections back home. A village school or your own school or your neighborhood or a friend. Anybody. You owe it to yourself. For your self-care. For your happiness. To be of value to that. You have your villages, it can be environment issues. So, find out for yourself, how can you continue to be of value to the country which has given you history within. You have 5,000 years of history within. No country has a richer history than India. No country other than Egypt or Chinese has a richer civilization than India. These are histories of countries of strong civilization. And in a very powerful spiritual background is India. Very powerful. Most powerful spiritual powers, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Gita, these are all spiritual strengths and they don't belong to Hindu, Muslim, Sikh side at all. They belong to humanity. When you read these, you don't turn an Hindu or you don't get converted. You will become a better human being. So therefore, India has that civilization. Powerful civilization you can be proud of. And once you read that, exactly you will start doing for yourself, what can I do back home? You can support your school, you can support some children, just as she now today some of you are supporting the children or you are supporting Indian children. So therefore, you can strengthen your love for the country, respect for the country, regard for the country, dignity for the country, to support anything you identify is close to your heart. You can support an old age home. You can support a disability center. You can look at areas you like and then connect on your own. Mujhe kuch karna hai. Even $1 a day, in the end $30 a month is good enough sometimes for that center. Even $1 a day. Just put in future when you in cash and you got change, put the change in a box. Convert that change into dollars. Send it to the cause which you want to support. You never know. So even $1 a day saved is a lot of money sometimes for the children, women, men or causes in need. So there is no dearth of causes. And today, by the way, Indians are emerging as the most philanthropic community in the world. Yeah. It's emerging as one of the most highly philanthropic country in the world in charity, because India is full of philanthropy today. Sometimes coming from overseas and sometimes coming from within the country. But this is how India is now getting more skilled, sometimes a skill development. So buy a computer. You have any extra computers, take it along, gift it to somebody who may be in need. A laptop, clothing. I can take books. It's up to you. Everybody has access. All of us have access more than we need. All of us. Otherwise we won't be here. All of us have more than we need. All of us have time also. So time and your resources, once you combine them, you will see that is what will make you proud Indian and an asset to your Australian nationality wherever you are. You must continue to respect and value where you are, strengthen the country with which you are. You owe it to the country which is giving you all that you want, but do not forget your motherland. Your motherland will always remain your motherland. And you never ask your mother, Mama, what can I do for you? Oh, she'll never say you do this for me. She says, Beta, tum kuch rehna. Tum sada abad rehna. So next